Mr. Breast is like my favorite YouTuber.
What is Crohn's disease?
I think he's amazing.
From people being angry at Chris for dressing up as a helicopter.
Oh, that was right. The attack helicopter thing. I remember that. Okay, I want to get this apparent now. I don't know how much of this video is going to be vegan teacher. Vegan teacher, 100% is a fail troll. She is baiting on purpose to get attention.
Remember when people were going around making the joke that they identify as an Apache attack helicopter?
I think I remember this coming out originally and it just wasn't funny even then. I mean, I always think it was a little bit of an L meme.
Not crazy. I know he swapped those numbers. I knew it was 1,200.
Are we really doing donos doing the chicanery bit?
Well, Mr. Beast and Chris incorporated this copy pasta word for word in a 2016 video.
People say to me that a person being a helicopter is impossible. I'm having a plastic surgeon install rotary blades.
Like, I get it. It's a bad joke. It's a not funny joke. I get it. But for 2016, like, the internet was a different landscape then. It was so, like, you know, it was the Wild West. You know what I keep finding funny? You'll see, like, someone say, oh my God, I can't believe Joji, like, showing a rat on a screen during his live show. And it's like, yeah, imagine what he did in 2016, buddy.
Hey girl, you want some attack helicopter?
I was actually born a tank, but sadly it wasn't one of our 52 genders.
It's just so, it's in such poor taste. It's genius.
Most offensive, it probably wouldn't even hit 1 on the scale because the only thing at the brunt of the joke is a flying metal vehicle. Yet because they—
Like, I get it. You're belittling people's gender identity. I get it. But it's not, I don't think it's, you know, this isn't like fucking libs of TikTok where they've actually got an agenda and they, you know, they hate LGBT. This is just like a poor taste joke. And you know, the worst thing is no one would have had a problem with this at the time, but probably the only reason Sonny's mentioning it is because someone recently brought it up.
In a now deleted 2016 video, Mr. Beast says, I was born a tank, but sadly it wasn't one of our 52 genders.
I like how whoever made this tweet, I like how they hide behind some fans. Like, I'm not saying it.
Oh, about the discrimination attack helicopters face till now. Chill, the video was obviously a meme. Don't try to cancel.
Oh, was it Def Noodles? Oh, I'm not even surprised. I'm not even surprised it was Def Noodles. I love how it is Def Noodles. I'm not even surprised there. He made a video during my drama, basically like ignoring all the counter evidence I provided and then just said I'm guilty anyway. One thing I love, you know, the commentary community, there are so many sides that all fucking hate each other. Everyone in the commentary community kind of bands together to hate on Def Noodles. Like, for example, Keemstar, right? Keemstar hates me. I hate Keemstar. But we can both shake hands and say that we hate Def Noodles.
Comments didn't stop the original person who was trying to cancel Mr. Beast, who would continue with this excellent piece of investigative—
I like how Sonny doesn't even name who the guy is as well.
Journalism.
Like, he just knows to not even dip his foot in that. What I'm going to say right now, 2 words, Twitter journalism. No, not gaming journalism. No, this is Twitter journalism. This is even worse. It's more like he's hiding behind how it's some fans. It's like, you give no proof. There was no screenshots or anything of people being offended.
It was nothing compared to another which would happen at a later date. This new one being so dumb that even PewDiePie jumped in to defend Mr. Beast. It began in November 2021 after the incredibly popular Squid Game—
Oh, I know what this is going to be. This is going to be about the, because I remember Jimmy, Mr. Breast, he got basically told that he needed to donate the money from Squid Games to charity.
I'm sure that money couldn't possibly have benefited anyone else. Imagine using this money to actually help those who need that, not for—
Okay, with that profile picture, you know these kind of people are like 30. They're like 35. And the thing is, what, you know, these kinds of people never watch YouTube apart from like, you know, book reading videos or something. These are people that never would have even watched Mr. Breast.
Firstly, it's infuriating because it can be applied to any amount of money. Oh, you got ice cream on the weekend and got 2 scoops? Why didn't you get 1 scoop and donate the rest to charity?
I don't think he needs to make that analogy. It's more just the fact that, like, you know, unfortunately, Mr. Breast is running a business. He can't just give all of his money away to charity. By making the Squid Game video, he makes an investment. He makes his channel bigger. So you could even counter argue and say he's making more money in the future that he can actually give away to charity. And as well, he has the philanthropy channel. He's got Mr. Breast Philanthropy, where he gives like money to people that are underprivileged and shit in America. He loses money on every video. Yeah, no, that's true. He's still well off though. Like, if you knew like how much he spends on poker when he goes out, Jesus Christ, he's stacked. But you've got to keep in mind though, like he's not like he's in the red or anything. Like, he probably has more merch sales than any other YouTuber, and merch sales bring a lot.
Put your fat furry art away, Wall 2. I'm not role playing with you right now, Wall 2.
You are really just donating Breaking Bad. Walter, put your dick away, Walter.
Beast gained close to 10 million subscribers, and with Mr. Beast's main message being one of helping others, how can we be so sure that those inspired by his message wouldn't donate more than $3.5 million to charity themselves over the long run? So sure, he could take the whole $3.5 million and dump it into a charity, but at the end of the day, it's simply a poor choice.
Yeah, it's such broken logic because, you know, like I said already, he is running a business. He needs to make more money to fulfill bigger projects, to entertain people. It really is just like you need to give everything away that you've ever made instantly or we won't be happy. It's basically people that have never watched him. They're bitter that he has a lot of money, this money that they will never see in their entire life. They're just spiteful. Unlike most rich people, he is actually partially giving that money back.
The other problem with these people putting pressure on Mr. Beast to give money to charity is that they probably don't even donate money themselves.
If Mr. Breast turned up and he gave this amount of money to one of these renters, they would shut up instantly. They'd be like, oh, you're so nice. You've changed my life. Thank you so much, Jimmy.
I think he's done a hell of a lot more for the people than you have. Grow up. Look at his channel and tell me he doesn't help people. Grow up. Let this man spend his money however he pleases. The cancellation attempt was so pathetic that even PewDiePie uploaded a stream highlight in defense of Mr. Beast.
People were like, oh, you spent all this money like doing this when you could have just like fed the hungry or some shit like that. He spent $2 million building Squid Game.
This is what I hate so much about like Twitter journalism as well. What they'll essentially do is grab like 2 tweets off Twitter that have like 20 likes between them, put it on their gaming journalism website and make it out that that is fact. That is what everyone's saying. Journalism now is grabbing tweets and then just putting them on your website and claiming that this is everyone's opinion.
And people are like, well, he's not doing enough. This is the problem with Twitter. Like, people shouldn't have opinions.
Yet neither
I like he summarized it in such a blunt way. People shouldn't have opinions. You have an opinion?
PewDiePie, this in turn gives the commentary community a reason to talk about her, providing her with growth through controversy, in a similar way to Jellybean or Wings of Redemption. And with this
The vegan teacher got compared to Mr. Look Here, Look Listen. Look here! Look, listen!
But before we watch him eat a $70,000 pizza, let's look into the eyes of this child. $70,000 could buy a lot of food.
Okay, so vegan teacher be like, Mr. Breast, you haven't actually helped the children in Africa. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to put this stock image of a starving child. I'm not going to help the kids. It's not me, it's you. You're the problem.
This started the vegan teacher's argument on poor footing, as it failed to include the fact that 5 months prior, Mr. Beast had begun Beast Philanthropy, with the first 4 out of 5 videos on the channel doing exactly what the vegan teacher was complaining about, feeding people without access to food. Vegan teacher, those 70,000 could have gone towards feeding starving children. Also her, he bought everything in a store and donated it to charity or whatever, but that doesn't matter.
It's based that all like the God Defenders are coming out. Because he's like, do you know, like he's dipping into his own pockets. I mean, he makes an insane amount of money through merch sales. I think he did say it's merch sales that funds the philanthropy channel.
Her only attempt at feeding the hungry being her complaining about others not feeding the hungry. Upon visiting her Patreon, it states, each donation, big or small, helps to sustain me so I can devote more time and resources to helping save the animals.
So you give her 27 Australian dollars a month and that will fuel her to go onto people's Twitters and bait pathetically to be a fail troll. One thing though I'm convinced of, I eat meat, I am a meat eater. If you asked everyone in the world to like kill an animal to prepare it for like cooking, like you watch it being killed, I'm convinced that half of like everyone would end up being like veggie or vegan. I'm talking about like seeing them stuck in cages all day for like their entire life. I think that would turn a lot of people off. You know how you'll see those ads about like starving kids and shit on the TV and you'll think, holy shit, that's terrible. And then 2 minutes later, you'll be like, anyways, because it's out of your head. What's the buzzword? Is it cognitive dissonance? I don't know what the buzzword is. How many like people do you think the vegan teacher has made sure that they will never be a vegan in their life from how obnoxious she's delivered her message?
Undo the damage that you've done. The first thing that you can do, Mr. Beast, number 1 is become vegan. Number 2, become an animal rights activist for the rest of your life. Tell people that the videos that you've done in the past, including this one,
Like when she says stuff like this, it has to be bait. Do you know how many sponsors would pull out of YouTube if one of their biggest creators was shilling veganism? And then they'd pull Jimmy into an office meeting, they'd pull him into a room and they'd be like, Jimmy, you're shilling veganism. That's not good. Most of our advertisers are like McDonald's and like fast food and shit, and that's meat. So if you don't change your ways, we're going to take you out that good boy program where 1 view gets you $1,000.
6 days later, she'd post another video attempting to cancel Mr. Beast, this time titled, "At Mr. Beast, stop paying for animal sexual abuse, in which she'd go on to call Mr. Beast out for not specifying whether or not the base of the ice cream they were eating was vegan.
But what is the base made out of?
It sounds like she's saying base. That's the only thing I care about. I genuinely do not care what she's saying.
Is the base?
The vegan teacher would upload a third video in which she'd state that Mr. Beast was again promoting violence, this time by not having fruit and vegetables on his pizza in the "I ate the world's largest slice of pizza" video.
Where is the pineapple?
I mean, that's bait. Like, where's the pineapple? Like, what does that make any different? You get vegan cheese. It's called cheese, I think. When she does stuff like that, the mask is slipping a little bit, that she's just like obvious fail troll.
Someone needs to explain to the vegan teacher that putting vegetables on something doesn't make it vegan.
This is why, by the way, I made one video on the vegan teacher and I never did it again, because she's just obviously baiting. You remember when I made videos on Stomedy? Everyone baits a little bit. All the time. Like, that's normal. When you bait to this level where you're just like, you know, being so aggressive, you're like giving these big holes to people for people to punch into, that's so obvious that anyone in the community can do it. It's just, it sucks. There's no like back and forth there. It's L.
Because Mr. Beast had a professional hot dog eater in his video, this was promoting the food poutine. Poutine has cheese in it, cheese comes from milk, and milk is taken from cows, and therefore Mr. Beast is promoting the act of stealing.
Why are you promoting people that eat large amounts of food?
Unsurprisingly, all three of the vegan teachers' attempts to cancel Mr. Beast failed miserably, as did the two we discussed earlier. In fact, there really hasn't been a single bit of Mr. Beast drama that's had the slightest effect on his reputation. His bulletproof public image and masterful management of controversy turn every cancellation attempt into...
I like how Sonny says Mr. Breast is a masterful, Sonny say, masterful, I'm British, masterful way of dealing with controversy, when it's just like, what does he do? He just ignores it. I remember when Mr. Breast's editor came for him, saying something about his mum being like too intense or something, and Mr. Breast can just ignore it. He has built such a dedicated fan base that he does not need to acknowledge drama, because he's punching down and it's below him. His fan base just like rips these people apart.